Hello everyone. We have reached finally the last point of the Agile Manifesto, which is responding to change over following a plan. And this is the hardest to do from a technical perspective. We'll talk about this. Um, so change is good. We all say that, but it's hard, right? It's difficult. It's difficult to change ourselves. And the hardest is actually to change ourselves. And the rest, of course, changing the organization and all, changing the team process, improving the process. These are all difficult things to do. Um, and these all, again, bring together some of the ideas we've talked about. We've talked about small batches. We've talked about short feedback loops. We will talk about lead times. So it's important to understand that all the concepts of agile, they're linked to each other. So if, for example, you can't be agile if you're not following small batches concept. What is small batches concept? It's just anything that you're doing. Try to think about it in such a way that you can get feedback about that action quickly from some other sort of, from your customer ideally, or from yourself, or from your team members, from your boss, from your subordinates, whichever way, right? And there are three pillars of Scrum, right? There's inspection, adaptation, and transparency. So they're all linked. But what we want to do, we want to be in a position that we should be able to inspect our process or inspect our product, whatever we need to do. We should do that and try to learn from it, right? Somebody mentioned to me recently that we should do retrospectives, and we've stopped doing those, unfortunately. And I just requested him, number one, thanks to that person for bringing it up. Number two, that I just requested him to do it within the smaller team. For example, let's say the iOS team they were mentioning. So the iOS team can sit down with QA and the developers, and maybe invite a few technical leads if possible, and have their own retrospective. So shouldn't need to wait for product owners or scrum masters to arrange that. uh, so again, the second pillar of scrum, which is adaptation. So these are the ideas are drawn from complex adaptive systems. And so you quickly take feedback. So for example, we're talking about doing informal appraisals of ourselves, right? Why are we doing that? Because we want to, so every month we want to spend 10 minutes in appraising ourselves with our boss, and vice versa. We want to spend those 10-15 minutes every month to see whether we are improving or not, whether we're improving our process or not, whether we are improving our weaknesses or not. These are things that are very aligned with Scrum. Most organizations do appraisals once a year. We can do that. The detailed one we can do once a year, but we need to do something every month, which we document and we learn from and we see the trend. Responding to basically transparency, open discussions, and knowledge sharing. Um, this is hard to do again, like everything else in Scrum. But if you can achieve transparency, then basically everybody knows how things are being done, what is the process, what are the products, and how are we improving. So knowledge sharing automatically happens, and it happens in across the vertical. So it's not, it's everybody gets to contribute. So I will stop here and take questions.